This is Mouth Media Network, the business of being heard.
Ha ha. Ha. Ha ha. Ho ho. Squee. Chortle guffaw. Ha ha ha. Hee hee. Ha. Oh ho 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 ho. Ho. Ha. ROTFL. Side splitting. Ha ha. Is that enough? Hilarious. This is Funny People Talking.
Hey, my name is Tamar Greene. I'm a Broadway actor, and I would rather watch a kitten slowly scratch my eyeballs than listen to Funny People Talking.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Funny People Talking. I don't know why I talk like this, but it's some accent I made up, and it's going to stop right now. I'm Marc, one of your...
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm one of your hosts.
Merci.
Definitely. You know, I have to tell you, I've definitely done my bit of acting, but there are only a few accents I can maintain consistently forward. Some of them I just can't. French is likely to become some sort of Kentucky accent, I think so. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Marc, one of your hosts. With me, I'm with her. We're all together. It is Dresden Engel.
Hello.
I think
very, very, very excited about today's show and guest star.
Me too. Maybe we could do can we do the whole thing as a musical? Ooh.
Oh my God. We're gonna introduce him. Should we introduce him? We're gonna introduce him now.
That and curtain.
And curtain, done. It's all over.
No, you enter. That's when you enter.
That's right. Okay, that's it. That's it. And speaking of cues, our producer Elsie. Hi, Elsie.
Hey, how's it going?
No, you have to be singing.
I'm not singing.
Okay.
Places. You have 5 minutes. Places.
Thank you, 5.
Thank you, 5.
Actually, yes. That was very accurate.
That was a muscle. That was a muscle memory right there. And
man.
as you heard earlier, with us, the very esteemed gentleman, the Broadway actor himself, and he is currently, get this, playing the role of George Washington in the Broadway production of Hamilton. And he started that right before COVID in January. He was previously playing the role in the Chicago production and doing so quite adept. What's the word? Depth.
He was doing a really great job since he moved to New York.
And so good.
There we go. Good save. Good save.
So good. He took over the role in January of 2020. And can't wait to talk to him about all things Broadway, all things Hamilton, all things Tamar, and acting and humor and everything. And by the way, I don't know if you can hear that or not. Maybe it doesn't. We have a very large dog that lives above us in this apartment, and he is jumping around and barking, and his master is yelling at him to heel, and I don't know if that's coming across, but if you hear what sounds like thunder, it is not meteorologically related. It is.
Marc, thank you for covering for the fact that my husband's yelling at me in the other room.
Oh, okay.
And onward.
Anyway, Tamar, welcome to the show, my man.
It's good to be here, man. Thanks for inviting me.
Gosh, we're thrilled you're here. We have such a great show planned, everybody. A couple of things before we get started. I have to tell you, I have a story about my very first trip on the subway in New York in 6 months, and how from that very moment my day went kablooey. And we haven't had a good Marc subway story in a while, right, Elsie? Pretty much a staple of the show for a while. And but we're back, everybody. We're back. And then we're also going to have a round of Yum or Yuck from Elsie, a great celebrity story, Dresden moment, and of course, a brand new improv game to Dresden, one we've actually only, I think, played one other time on the show. It's a goodie, though. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's going to have a lot of fun. And, of course, all about Tamar Greene. Going to dive deep into this gentleman. What a great show we have ahead. But first, as always, I have a question for Dresden. And Dres, the thing I wanted to know is, I noticed in your office there where you're recording this, there is, very curiously, I've never seen this before, you have an actual action figure of yourself, not a bobblehead, an action figure. And I'm very impressed. It's something I've always wanted myself, an action figure of myself, because, you know, ego indulgent or whatever. But I am dying to know why you have an action figure. Does it move? And most importantly, is it animatronic? No, I'm just kidding. So what is that all about, my friend?
Well, you know, it's actually a tribute to all women. There's WN on her chest for Wonder Mama.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
And she looks a little bit more like the hot actress who played Wonder Woman last year or 2 years ago than me. But that's okay, right?
Yeah.
Because her bendable parts, you want her to look more like her than me. But it is a tribute to me and my Wonder Mama-ness that I can hold a career, still do theater, still do comedy, and still be a role model for my girls.
Is the wonder part of that? I wonder why I did this. No. No.
You know what I did? I didn't have kids till 40, everybody.
I know.
So I lived my complete life prior to having kids.
Yeah.
Highly recommended.
Wow. Good for you.
Amazing. Awesome.
It is great.
Yeah.
Do you have any kids, Tamar? I don't remember your age or.
No, I do not.
Okay.
I do not have kids.
Yeah. Well, your brother.
Why does his age matter? Is his clock ticking?
It doesn't. Because
I'm gonna go start now. Actually, if we wrap this
I
up.
know. Well, you know, it's the whole reason we got into Broadway, wasn't it? Actually, it was to avoid the kid part of it, but still have the fun of it, right? No, but anyway, all kidding aside, that's cool. I love that about your action figure, and that mom is in action, right?
I love it. Yes, mom is in action. It's not hilarious. Maybe I went a little more endearing this time.
All right. How about we start the show, and I'm going to get a whole bunch of fun right ahead of us. Elsie, tell me to start the show, would you?
Start the show, Marc.
Thanks. Yep, you earned your salary right there, right there.
From the Mouth Media Network studios in New York City, this is Funny People Talking with Marc Rako, Dresden Engel, and Elsie.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Funny People Talking. We're here with Tamar Greene, Broadway actor extraordinaire. And before we get to the show proper, just a quick bit of housekeeping that we always like to do. Tamar, I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to the show, but we always, every episode, we pay testament to and salute and pray to the comedy gods on behalf of the great and powerful Tina Fey, who we desperately hope will just turn her head our way for just a moment and be on the show. Send us a postcard, do a drive-by. We don't care. Some way of connection. And the funny thing is as time goes on, my willingness to settle for some interaction becomes more and more at a lower level. I'm like, even if she like drove by a picture of us on somebody's phone while she's in Wyoming, like I'm good with that.
No. We need higher standards.
Yeah, no, she's got to be on the show, full episode. But anyway, so we pray to Tina Fey, and you're certainly welcome to join in if you feel the spirit move you. But here we go. Oh, Tina Fey. Oh, Tina Fey, we wish you were here. We hope you'll be here. We
Tina
love
Fey.
you.
There once
You are
was
the
a girl
best, the great
named
powerful
Tina.
30 Fey.
Faye.
Faye,
Thanks.
Tina.
Faye.
We love you in your
We love
pizza
you.
scent.
Join us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That's it.
Is she in your phone tomorrow by any chance?
I'm texting her right now.
Rock and roll. Thank you, buddy.
Do not tease us, Tamar. I caution you, sir. So, anyway, so that's first. Okay, I have to thank you for everybody. I have to regale my first subway story in a while. the New York subway. So I and my wife have been most cautious with the pandemic, where we have avoided public transportation altogether. Even the couple times we had to go down to Manhattan, which took us months to do, and only because we absolutely had to for business or whatever, we took Uber, which was like an $80 round trip. It was ridiculous. So I had to go the other day to go take care of a couple errands, like going to Lens Crafters for my glasses or whatever. And the only reason I did that, by the way, is because my driver's license was expiring and I had to get an eye test and blah, blah, blah. Anyway. So I'm not spending $80 to do this on top of everything. So I finally hopped the subway. I've got my antibacterial rub. I've got my mask. I'm all ready to go. I'm trying to do it with courage and vigor. And I say, okay, I'm finally doing it. I take a little picture, throw it on Instagram. Here I am. The train's arriving. I'm going to do it, right? What could go wrong? Hop on the train. I am telling you, within 5 stops, someone without a mask sits directly next to me. First train. The only thing he could have done worse than this is to literally rip my mask off and sneeze in my face. That's the only level it could have been worse than literally someone sitting next to me, clearly not wearing a mask. So I was like, I got up, I moved, I took a picture, I posted it, because that's the only ammunition I got. So then I get off the train, I walk around, which, by the way, took a very short period of time where you don't have a lot of people going in and off the train. It's pretty efficient. So let's do more of that. I walk around the street, and I was really disappointed. This is the bummer of the story. I was really disappointed to walk around and see how many people were not wearing masks at all, or wearing them wrong. I really thought walking around, like in Manhattan, like in Chelsea area, like I really, really thought there would be more people, educated, professional people wearing. It was really disappointing. And
Tamar, you're in the city. Have you felt the same way?
I'm actually just outside of the city now.
Where
I go there a lot. I'm in Jersey.
Okay.
I'm in Jersey. Yeah. But I was just there, like, in the city this morning, like today. And I don't take the subway as much these days, but I do see people I'm driving by or walking by, and there are some without, and it really is disheartening. So I understand what you're saying. It seemed like in New York City, at least, everyone.
Well, I mean, the thing is my wife and I live at the top of Manhattan in Inwood, by like Washington Heights and all that.
Oh yeah.
And in all candor, there's probably a lot of people up here that may be of a different level of education or economic level up here versus, say, most of the people probably living and working down in that area. And so I expected, just through education and access, that we just might see more of a participation. I saw less down there, which really was the upsetting part. I don't know.
I absolutely agree. It's unfortunate.
So then I get to my first destination, which was Lens Crafters. And this is nothing about Lens Crafters, it just happens to be where I was. And I go in there.
This podcast is sponsored by Lens
I was just
Crafters.
thinking the same thing.
You
Yeah.
said it, 5 times now, Elsie?
Yeah.
Well, when you see where the story is going, I think it's probably sponsored by somebody else. So I don't think Lens Crafters wants any claim to this story. But I go and I do my everything that I have to do there, and then I'm getting my glasses fit, and all of a sudden I hear this big commotion. And I look around, and there's this man with a backpack on trying to get out of the store with all of his might as the employees grapple at him and try to take him down and keep him in the store because he was robbing the store. And it was loud, and it was violent, and there was no weapon brandished, thankfully. And stuff is getting knocked around, and he's loud, and people are screaming, and he managed to get away from them and get out the door and run away. And a couple of the employees went running after him. And I sat down. I was still there, and the person helping me sat back down. She looked a little shaken, and she goes, "Sorry about that." I said, "Are you okay?" She says, "I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'm okay." And she says, I said, "Would he steal something?" And she said, "Yeah." She goes, "It happens all the time."
Whoa.
And I was like,
so
what?
I would never think Lens Crafter. So he stole money?
No, I think he stole lenses, frames.
Oh, the designer frames
Yeah.
can really cost. Oh, we probably went right to the designer section. which even in upstate New York where I am, they lactose up.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's sad.
I mean, is this going to be some guy selling from a table on the street near Macy's, or is this going to be, is there a black market for designer lenses? I really don't know. I mean,
frames.
That's what I meant. Yeah. Thanks, Elsie. Thanks for popping in there with that.
Did you see the whole appointment through, or did you just take?
I was right at the end of it, thankfully.
Good.
I will say I saw the whole thing perfectly though with my new lenses. So.
And there. And there's
this podcast is not sponsored by LensCrafters.
But I felt so bad for them. I'm like, God, this is really like. That's their existence there, is that I understand if you have like a check cashing company and that people might try to rob you all the time, but I don't understand.
Yeah.
These people don't get paid enough to deal with this all the time, It's tough. Why don't they have a security guard there?
And then there's that. Yeah.
Anyway,
I wouldn't be tackling anybody. I assure you that. I'm like, I just work here. Okay? That's it.
I have to tell you,
you're lying.
Yeah.
Tamar, you're right.
Above my pay grade.
I was a little disappointed to see that. Like if I was the manager of that store, I would make sure those people would understand. Say, let those people go. Don't do anything. Don't hurt yourself. Don't run after them. Because
they're insured. Yeah.
And by the way, not just for the employee's safety, which is certainly a critical issue here, but what happens if that person does have a weapon? They aim at an employee and they hit a customer from a pure liability standpoint, not a value of human life standpoint. Just crazy. Anyway, that was my first subway ride down in Manhattan after 6 months. And all I could say was, gotcha, universe. Message received. I'm staying here forever. So, by the way, I took an Uber back.
There you go.
I did.
Yeah.
I did, but not out of fear. I actually had my wife's wedding dress in a box, and I thought it was too big for the subway. Anyway, I think this is a perfect moment for a little.
And now it's time for Dresden Moments.
That's right, a Dresden moment. Now, Dresden, I don't know if you know this about her or not, Tamar, but Dresden does know and have an interaction with quite a few celebrities here and there through her work in PR and marketing. And there just seems to be a continuous treasure trove. Just like when you walk into a well-stocked pantry and you go, what am I in the mood for now? There's definitely something in here for me. So, Dresden, what you got today?
I was going to go a little serious.
Okay.
Because we have a professional actor
on
the show. Yes. So Tamar, if you could tell me some of the best acting or singing advice you've gotten from somebody. I'm sure you've got lots of it in your years of study. But can you think of a factoid? And then I'll go into my examples that I learned. Can you think of a factoid regarding your singing voice, preserving your singing voice, a tip to do on stage as an actor? Anything you can share?
Sure. There's one that someone told me. It was out of jest. It was a joke, but I see where he was going at with as far as singing. He said, never give more than 62.5%.
Unless it's the end of a run, and then you can go crazy.
Yeah.
And is that preservation for 8 shows a week?
Yeah, that's pretty much what that was. And I was like, again, he was joking, but I was like, I get it, because you can't give 110% every day, all night. And you have to manage your instrument a little carefully.
I know, unless you're Idina Menzel and you've been purposefully hired so you can sing that damn note, and then, which is not true. That's not why she was hired. But I'm saying it's, and then you're like, I can't do 62.5% on that note. So
that's when you crank it up.
Which is why she burned her voice out on it, probably.
Yeah. So that's excellent. I appreciate that. And I'm going to think of you every time now. Every 8 show run I do on Broadway, I'll think of you.
I love that. That's a great, yeah.
So for me, 2 names that most people know, Philip Seymour Hoffman and Dennis Hopper.
Yes.
All right.
So in conversation with Philip Seymour Hoffman, who I was very lucky to know, in discussing acting, he gave me advice that obviously just was like, yes. And so I think of him often, and it was, you have to always stay in the moment. The second you stop staying in the moment as an actor, you're done. You catch something out of the corner of your eye, somebody doing something in the audience, like, a Patti LuPone moment, they're videotaping you, or you're focusing too much on your personal life and not staying in the moment as an actor. And Philip was known for getting to the theater hours before Death of a Salesman and just really working through getting himself into character. So I just always think about that. You just have to 100% stay in the moment or you're not being true to your craft. Any thoughts on that, Tamar?
Yeah, I would always say that like the moments that I mess up are always when I allow myself, like when I slip out of the scene.
Yeah.
And I think of, whatever in the middle of a
Philip
scene.
Seymour Hoffman is going to remind you.
Yes.
And this other one is interesting. So I started taking voice lessons, I think at 10 years old, which is a little early for voice lessons. And I continued all the way on through into my oldness. And I never knew something that someone should have told me. Okay, two things people should have told me. Don't be a cheerleader, because I screamed myself into vocal nodules. But I was, too busy having fun in high school. But Dennis Hopper was the one who taught me to drink only room temperature water. And he needed to have room temperature Evian before he did a talk. And I was doing PR with him. And I said, well, why for the room temperature water? And he said, well, cold water constricts your vocal cords. Did you not know that? And then I wanted to call every one of my voice teachers and yell at them for never telling me that. Tamar, you knew that, didn't you?
I do, because
You're a vocal instructor.
I am a vocal instructor. And I'm guilty because I love ice cold water. So it's like, if you're going to then sing and use your instrument like that, then you should not be drinking ice cold water. That's what it is. If you're like normal day to day, chilling, it's fine, I guess.
Yeah, different kind of chilling. Mark, did you know that?
I did know that. And I know, and it makes sense. One of the reasons why so many singers drink tea. Like not scalding tea, but hot tea.
Right.
And yeah, I did know that actually.
So these weren't ha moments.
Oh, okay.
But I just thought, some people who kind of made a name for themselves in the biz gave me some stuff that stays with me. So I just wanted to share that.
Awesome.
Those are good gems.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Great gems.
I'm a lucky girl.
All right. Thank you very much for that. Both of you, by the way. A little bonus acting tip from Tamar Greene. All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it is Yum or Yuck with Elsie and an improv game right after this.
I bet you're wondering, who am I?
Why am I here? What the hell is Funny People Talking?
Exactly. This is Funny People Talking.
As an American, there is no greater privilege and responsibility than choosing who will represent you and your family to determine the course of history, your lives, the economy, your health, your safety. On November 3rd, please choose to vote. To vote early, or if you need an absentee or mail-in ballot, please visit vote.org. Your future self thanks you. Elsie.
Yeah.
Guess what?
What?
You're up.
She loves bacon, she's cantankerous, and her cat's an adjustment. She's the producer, it's Elsie.
So just to give you an idea, Tamar, we have a feature on the show called End of Show Food. During COVID, we've not been able to be all in the same room together, so it's tough to get everybody the same unusual food that Elsie would find somewhere in the world, and then we'd all taste it, talk about it, and rate it on a scale of chickens. And I know that's strange, but that's what we do here. But Elsie's continued the tradition with a feature we call Yum or Yuck, where she does basically the same thing, and we watch and listen. And so Elsie, what do you have today?
So today I have Puffworks, strawberry PB&J peanut butter puffs.
Whoa, intrigued.
I'm sorry, peanut butter and jelly puffs? Peanut butter puffs?
Yeah. They're organic too.
Where'd you get them?
one of my favorite new discoveries, mouth.com.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Super cool. So I'm going to try them and I'll tell you.
All right, so it's a beautiful bag. It looks like old-timey kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Like an old-timey.
Yeah.
Elsie, I started a stupid diet, so can you crunch it into the microphone for my satisfaction?
Sure.
Sort of an ASM thing.
I see.
Oh,
and
and
or whatever.
it
ASMR.
smells like a peanut butter and strawberry jam sandwich. Like it smells, it's not that fake chemical, like kind of thing.
Show us the puffs themselves. They just look like almost like cheese puffs in a way, or whatever.
Purple?
Yeah, they look like
They're red,
color?
kind of pinkish.
if you dipped. So basically, Dresden, if you dipped a cheese puff in Kool-Aid, that's
smell
what it would
good.
look like.
Yeah, but it wouldn't taste like cheese. It tastes like PB&J.
No.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
here we go.
they smell good.
Crunch for me.
Hope they taste good. All right, so I'm gonna do it right on the mic. So
Oh my God,
ready?
I'm so excited.
1, 2, 3, go.
Audibly, they get all the chickens. Tamar doesn't know what to make of me.
That was
All right.
welcome, Tamar. Welcome to our world.
What do you think?
It's like
They're good.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what are you getting? What are you getting in the taste buds?
The peanut butter is the strongest part of it. There is a little bit of sweetness from the strawberry jam part of it, but it's like you have to like peanut butter because that's the dominant flavor.
Who doesn't like peanut butter?
But these are really good. These are
I
good.
love
Let me see. One serving is 30 pieces.
Oh, and tell us the nutritional intake.
140 calories for 30 pieces.
What?
It's not bad. Not
Really?
bad. No trans fat.
So like one of them's only like
So you can have 30 of these for a serving.
Do the math. Here we go.
4 calories, something like
pretty
that.
good.
5 calories. So,
There's potassium in it. That's about it.
And
there's
M&Ms,
that's not bad.
M&Ms
There's-
have zinc. I can justify any food. Just call
That's
me.
right.
And there's protein.
There's protein. Is there fiber?
No.
Oh.
I
Is that
mean,
usually balanced?
the
She's
honestly,
out. Dresden's out.
No, Mama, not out.
the protein and the potassium are the health benefits. So.
Fan freaking tastic. So, how many chickens?
Oh wait! I take that back. I see dietary fiber. Sorry, 4%.
There you go. You're in. My God, that's like Weight Watchers. Hello.
So yeah,
How many points is that?
I would say. So I'm gonna give these 68 out of 72 chickens.
That's
And
amazing.
I'm only doing a demerit because the strawberry is not like even with the peanut butter, but they're good. So I would buy them again.
Wow, very, very good.
What if you
Who do
could
you think
dip
would like
them in strawberry jam while you're eating them?
Yeah, you could dip them. There you go. Perfect. See, solution.
And peanut butter.
Tamara, I love the way you think, my man. That's great.
Gotta use
Yeah.
a noggin.
Tomorrow, we will be
Yeah.
asking Elsie to send us these.
Yes, please.
I will. I'll even give her my credit card because I need these in my life. Oh, that's fantastic. You know what I did this week? Crazy. You're not going to believe this. I paid $2,000 for a diet, a 45-day diet with all these scary supplements because I'm on crack apparently because the COVID killed me, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you think of going through COVID. Do you know the last pandemic? What was it? There was a pandemic around the time of the Renaissance. Did you know that? And
Wasn't the last
19.
pandemic?
the Black Plague
1918.
around the time of the Renaissance. No, the last one was 1918. But at the time of the Renaissance, there was a plague, and now we know why a bunch of fat people laid around on couches and were painted.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
got it.
Because if you're going to paint me now, right, that'd be like the KFC bucket. Anyway, my point is, really, all they're telling me is, here are some supplements and don't eat flour and sugar. And so it took my 22-year-old staff person to go, did you really need to spend $2,000 to not eat flour and sugar? And I went, okay, you're the smartest person in the room. So I think that's why you pay so much. So you'll stick to the stupid diet. All right, but moving on.
Do you think back then they called it like, the bubonic 20? It's like...
Oh, I'm trying to find something that's in the synonyms of fat that rhymes with plague, and I can't come up with it. Anyway.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Elsie. 68. So it's yum.
Elsie, I'm
obviously.
sorry I get
yeah.
so excited.
No, that's fine.
Thank you.
All right. Very good. Thank you so much. And now, an improvisational comedy game. All right, it's time for our improv game, and the improv game that I've chosen for us today, I actually love this. Tamar actually sort of sat up in his seat to be ready. I saw that. That was great. I love that. It is, by the way, before I forget.
It's work.
Before I forget, I do need to mention really quickly that a quick note, a shout out to a former guest, Otto Asando, who was a wonderful guest last year.
Other than having the coolest freaking name in the world.
I know. And, he's done a lot of other shows and stuff, but he is now one of the stars of the Netflix show Away with Hilary Swank, that's right. And he's just marvelous in it and such a nice guy.
Yeah,
and I just felt the need to just give a quick shout out. And, I asked a few of the previous guests to say like, hey, would you say something about your time on Funny People Talking so we can share it with others? And he was so sweet to just respond to my email and say the nicest things. And I just want to give a little shout out to another fellow actor out there, Otto Asendo. What a nice guy. Okay. Our game today is called Musical Argument. And I chose this game because we have a great singers in our midst with Dresden, of course, Tamar, and I sing a little bit too. And I just thought we could just have a lot of fun with this. So the basic premise of this is that two people are having an argument and there are two suggestions given. What we get is the relationship of the two people, and they can decide whatever they're arguing about, and then the style of music that they need to sing their argument in.
Oh, wow.
It is a challenge, but I believe we are all up to that. Are you willing to give it a try, Tamar?
Yeah, let's do it.
And Mark, roughly how long do you think the time should go? Like, when should we? I know we want to go out on a bang of a great line, but roughly how long should the game go, each pair?
I think it goes for however long it goes, and it's funny, and it's lived its life. So basically shorter than any SNL sketch, basically.
Except anything Tina Fey was in, that was always perfect.
That was perfectly timed.
Always.
Exactly. So I figure maybe the way we could start here is maybe me and Elsie will do the first one. And Dresden, if you would decide what our relationship is, and Tamar, you give us the style of music that we are to do this in.
All right.
I would really, actually, I'm not even going to limit it. I was really trying to keep it from certain things that I know I can't do, but I'll just say yes and here.
Okay, so Elsie, you are very wealthy, like almost a baroness. And Mark is not only your very much of age, in his 20s, pool boy, he's also the house cleaner. And you're not happy with how the pool and their house are looking these days.
All right, I got it.
Okay. And Tamar, what style of music shall we argue in?
This should be.
Oh no! He's really searching the possibility.
I'm like, that's too close. Maybe
he's like Gregorian chant.
Let's do a. No, it's too easy. Let's do an opera.
Oh my God. I love you so much because
but does Elsie?
To me, it's like an early birthday present for Elsie to do opera. That's all I have to say. Okay,
Baroness.
All right. I will lead off if it's okay with you, Elsie.
All right.
Thank you. I knew I cleaned the pool to the best of my ability. Don't you see? Don't you see?
You are a bull in a china shop. You always break my stuff, and I wish you'd stop. You should stick to just cleaning pools, because as far as cleaning, you are a fool.
But I love you, don't you see? Even though I'm 23 and you are 93, I promise The pool is scum-free.
Do you not understand? You are my hired hand, and I am very rich, and you obey my wish. You will stick to pools because I am not cruel, and I can afford to hire someone else to clean.
And scene. That's where it ends. That's where it ends, Dresden. Right there. That's the spot. Very, very nicely done, Elsie. Very good. Thank you very much.
Oh, wait. I need to recover before I can do mine. Okay. Oh,
all right,
guys.
now.
Bravo, brava.
All right. So that was so much fun. Thank you very much. How about, Elsie, you do the relationship and I will choose the style.
All right.
For Dresden and Tamar.
Dresden is going to be a school teacher, and Tamar is going to be her third grade student.
So again, with the age difference.
I wasn't thinking of that. I was thinking of school and student, and I want third grade.
It can't be my college intern. No. Okay.
Third grade.
And great. Okay, so teacher and third grade student. And as much as I absolutely would love to go with Gregorian chant on this for sure, I would like to suggest 80s power ballad. 80s power ballad. Teacher and third grade student having an argument, musical argument. When you're ready, take it away.
Oh my God. Tamar, do you want to start? Or do you want me to start?
Well,
I'm the teacher.
Ladies first.
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
please.
Thank you. Okay.
Nicely played, Tamar.
Yeah, thank you.
I am looking in your eyes, but you're just eating fries in my class. Na 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 na. What do you say for yourself, little boy, like a puppet on my shelf?
Teacher, teacher, but I am hungry. Can't you see no food is here? I'm only in grade 3.
You could have had a happy meal tied up in a little box, but you're sitting here just like a little third grade sly fox. What do you say?
Does it make you feel good to talk about a third grade kid? Come on. Let's talk about a third grade kid. What has your life come to? I
don't see the reason to go on.
Look at you and give me a fry. Scene.
Very good. Very, very good. Very good. You know, the objective is to make us laugh, and certainly that happened. Thank you very much, both of you. How fun. I love this game. We're definitely going to play this again. That's like the VIP moment of the episode for sure. Thank you. All right, we are going to we've covered so much territory already.
I feel a little guilty. I'm sorry, little Tamar.
We're going to take a quick break, put on some deodorant, and you know,
I'm going to take off my leather pants for my 80s rock ballad.
Have a glass of bourbon and come right back because guess what? We got Washington on our side, and he is going to be with us in just a moment.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Funny People Talking and Elsie at Elsie the Producer.
And please, for the love of all that is holy, subscribe to the show and leave us a damn review and a really, really good rating on iTunes. Pretty please? Thank you.
All right, everybody, we are here with Mr. Tamar Greene, Broadway actor extraordinaire.
Extraordinaire.
Extraordinaire. All right, so There's kind of a couple of things I'd like to cover here with you. One is about you as an actor and a performer and all that stuff. And then the other is, quite frankly, and we'll get to this in a second, but maybe I'm going to start with this. What is it like for you, if at all, has it even registered, playing an iconic U.S. president, the first one, playing an iconic U.S. historical figure, playing someone who is at main point of this iconic musical Hamilton on the biggest stage in the world?
Use
Broadway.
the word iconic again. Do it.
Iconically.
Yes.
At a moment that arguably may be one of the most iconic political moments in U.S. history right now. So my question is, has that registered in any way to you? And I don't even mean like a responsibility or any of that crap, but is this coming your way? Does this cross your path where you're now an almost accidental piece of the political rhetoric just by doing this role?
Yes, that's a great question. Yes, definitely. It's definitely one of the scary things about joining the company in the beginning, because there's so much definitely in Washington's show, but also just in the Hamilton show that is still relevant to the political times right now. And we have many talks about, even in Chicago, we've had a lot of talks about what it meant to just be on that stage saying so many different powerful lines. And it's so one of those things. We were talking about little gems earlier, about acting gems. And another one that I've gotten before was like, acting isn't just pretending to be somebody else. It's being yourself in different circumstances. And so being myself in the shoes of Washington and breaking down his perfection, because he was not perfect, but that's, what we feel, growing up in America, of course, he's the first president. It's like on a mountain, like all this stuff. But at the end of the day, he was human, and I am human, and he's a paternal figure. And I'm not, I have children, but I'm a giant family, and I have a lot of little siblings, and there's a lot of crap going on in this country. And I stand on stage and say certain things, and I can feel live. I can feel the audience react differently depending on what happened last night on the news. It's powerful. It really is powerful. And I feel it every day. And I feel it when I go out to the stage door and I interact with certain people. And in that way, you do feel a little bit of no one's giving you that responsibility to be whatever that is. Like, I am the president. I'm not, I'm not running for anything, but it just has a way of happening to you. Like, like people, I might hang out with some of the castmates and they're like, wow, Washington wants to have a drink with us. I'm like, Tamar wants to have a drink with you, but but I get it. Y'all are the young, scrappy, and hungry folks. And, so it really has a way of seeping into your mentality, and you have no choice but to change and feel the power of a show like this with such great text.
It's interesting that when Lin-Manuel Miranda, and his team created this, I don't know how much of it was even designed to say, okay, this is going to be a big statement. This is going to be is going to have cultural impact to this magnitude. But, people have held him and therefore the show to a standard. The show is I don't want to use this term, but in a way, it's like a weapon that you wield, and you can use it for good, or you can use it. You do have this megaphone now. And like you said, just you saying those lines, they're not lines in a musical.
Right.
They're like a big public poetry slam.
Yeah.
That has, and people are sitting in the audience saying, make me feel something, connect me to something meaningful. And by just the way you even deliver something could change the meaning dramatically, I would think.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what was it like for you, going back a little bit? We'll kind of take down and move our way backwards. Tell us about two moments, if you would. Now, you're landing Chicago. Was that your first big theater role, or is that just one of a number of them, and this just happens to be a Hey Dresden iconic show?
I mean, it's undoubtedly the biggest show I've ever done. I've done other roles that have been life-changing for me. Rent, playing Collins, was a life-changing thing for me. Wow. But George Washington is undeniably the greatest honor, really, to play this role, for sure.
So tell us the moment about that moment when you got that phone call or that email or whatever when you first got the role to play in Chicago. I assume that was when you first played it. And then tell us about getting tapped for Broadway in New York and what that moment was like for you. Because, as actors, I know that, Dresden and I have at certain times in our life dreamed of that moment and could it happen to me? And then it does. So tell us about that.
Mm-hmm. It was just an unbelievable, unexplainably amazing feeling. It was like, it's a show that I saw the first time. I actually saw it in the previews in 2015 on Broadway. So I saw the original company, won the lottery, and I never.
By the way, I saw it in previews too. My wife dragged me to it, and I didn't know enough about it, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I want to see. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, this is literally the greatest thing I've ever seen ever.
I mean, yeah. That I kind of was the same way. I was like, I don't know what this thing is. I had a friend in it, and I was like, I'll go check it out when I get a chance. Yeah, sure. And it was a mind-blowing experience sitting in the front row. I'm a first-generation American. My dad is born in Jamaica. He's a kid from the Caribbean. My mom was born in England, but she is Jamaican, British Jamaican. So, the Caribbean aspect, the immigrant aspects, the hip-hop music in it, the scratching. My dad is a DJ, so
great.
The DJ scratching sounds, sitting there. I'm sitting in the front row of this thing, a couple rows in front of Joe Biden. I was having an experience that I couldn't explain. And from that moment, skip a few, I knew I just needed to be in this show. I needed to somehow get in those rooms where it was happening, whatever. There we go. First Hamilton reference. Get in the room where it was happening. And I tried for a long time. Over 2 years it took me to get the show. I auditioned over and over again, and they kept saying, look, we like you, just not right now, because they're very particular about the way they form their groups. And I was auditioning for Mulligan Madison at the time, which is what I thought I would be. And over the 2 years, once they gave me Lafayette Jefferson, it wasn't quite right. And I'm glad, because I don't want to jump off a thing every day, jump on the table. Yeah. But and then when they threw in George Washington, I remember I had a friend of mine who was telling me, have you thought about George Washington? And I was like, nah, I don't and then they gave it to me in the package for auditions, and that's when things started expediting, really. It started making sense, and I was like, oh, this is it. So 2 long years of auditioning, and I worked other jobs during that time, but I definitely worked. I couldn't get I have an agent, and I couldn't get in the rooms. I was like, what is going on? I'm like, I've worked, I have credentials, why are they not calling me in? And I went and did the non-union thing, stand in a line with someone's 80-year-old aunt from Australia who's is auditioning for the same role. I'm like, what? That is, yeah. You know what I mean? It's completely open calls. But I was like, I'm in this line. And I did that work to stand in there out in the rain, and got inside and just kicked the door down. And it's like, well, you're going to hear me. You're going to hear me. Okay. I know there's a place for me here.
So it's the dream, it's the talent, the dream, and the perseverance.
Yeah, I really did. Push
now, you mentioned
way
Collins and Rent. Is the first time you ever played that in your hometown of Rochester, New York, at Blackfriars?
Rochester, New York.
I
yes,
saw you play that.
I didn't realize. I missed that piece of information that your hometown's Rochester. I'm also from Rochester, by the way.
You are from Rochester as well.
Yeah, I grew up in Rochester.
All three of us are alums of Blackfriars Theater.
Yes.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
And Tamar, not making it about me, but we are both alums of the fabulous State University at Oswego.
Yes,
very proud of that. Shout out
indeed.
to our Professor Marc Cole, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Waterman
I'm actually on Friday. I'm getting the alumni award on Friday.
Yes, you are.
So cool.
Yeah,
that's really great. Wow.
I'll be watching. I'm on the alumni board. So I have loved, watching how much the college is embracing your success and how much you're loving Oswego back. So cheers, my friend.
Yes.
Love it.
Bravo to you. I did the commencement address a few years ago, and I talked about how you can, thank you. Huge honor. I talked about how you can rewrite your future. It's okay. Have a lot of dreams. Don't just have one. And, you know, maybe I was always gonna, you know, write for Cosmo and be in Les Mis, but instead I did a community theater production of Les Mis, and I ended up doing some funny TV commercial where Cosmo made a gif of me, right? So I just tried to keep it light, but also get a message in there. You hit Broadway in your mid-30s. Right?
Yeah.
So that is a huge message for folks. Keep on going.
Keep on going.
Although you wouldn't have been age appropriate for Washington younger than this.
True. Absolutely true. You know, and a lot of people gauge that it's that question of what is success. And I find that I was successful to be able to pay, like my own success was like, I'm able to do 100% performing and pay my bills very well and live happily.
Boom.
Like that's,
yeah.
Not 62.5%. 100%. Call back.
Get it back. You had to listen to the whole thing to understand.
They're going to be riveted tomorrow. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, that's...
Yeah. So, you know, so Broadway was always obviously like a goal, but it wasn't like, oh, my life is over now. I can end, you know, like, no, have more dreams, expand your wants and loves and passions.
Any dreams you want to share with us?
Dreams. I'm working on an album. That was one of my dreams. One of my dreams is always to have tangible album that I can give to my father or my father's a DJ, so I want to give him like a physical.
Oh, come on. That's so great.
That's definitely one of
Should we give a shout out to your dad?
My dad, Courtney Greene, in Rochester, New York.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout out.
And yes, and of course my mother, who's, you know, the reason why I sing and play piano.
What's your mother's name?
Susan Greene.
Hi, Susan Greene. Hi, shout out to the Rents. That's great.
Yeah. Shout out to all the parents who support their kids in the arts.
No question about it. My wife has a really cool organization called AHA Broadway, where they try to provide the opportunity for kids to experience performing arts and learn about that, especially kids that may not normally have access to them. It's really, it's really cool.
Fill in gaps.
And I've learned how important it is for parents to recognize that exact need and support their kids being a part of it. So I salute what you're saying, Dres. I want to go back to, if I could, because I just don't want to miss out on this before we go to that moment when you get that call for Broadway.
Good call.
Well, you can start with the Chicago if you want, because that was when you first got the call. And then I want to hear about that moment where Broadway became true for you.
Yeah, so that moment, so I was saying that I saw the show, wanted to be in it, did 2 years auditions, so on and so forth. I was doing another show called Love Never Dies, a sequel of A Phantom of the Opera, and I went on tour with it, and then Hamilton called me again. I've been in a lot of auditions. They called me again. I think I went out in September, and then they called me around October and said, like, hey, we want to bring you in for another like audition session. It's like a 30-minute work session. And I was like, that sounds amazing. That sounds unbelievable. I just left on tour and I was like, and like, I would normally drop everything. I'm like, and go, but like, this has been like 2 years now. And I'm like, look, I had to take a job. I can't just keep playing this. You know, I just made a decision, but it was also Tech Week, you know, and like out of any time you can slip out and do something, Tech Week's
not it.
It's not it. It's not it. I was like, I had to, and that was like one of the hardest decisions. I was like, I can't make this final callbacks. I was like,
if I could just find the fuse box and mess with it a little bit, it might buy me 12 hours.
Right. And I can get there and come back, you know, and I had done it before with Hamilton about a year and a half before that. It was another Tech Week for another show. And I was like, I can't do that again for another
show. Freaking Tech Week.
You're killing me, Hamilton.
You know, so I was like, I can't do it well. But they, you know, they understood. And I was like, oh, sure.
That's cool.
And I've been kicking myself for a couple months after that. And then they called me again, like in January, to come in again. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, absolutely. And I told him, I was like, I'm leaving. I got to go New York. I got to go. And I jumped back and forth to New York several times. So it was the next couple months while on tour. And then over the summer, I decided to take a 2-week vacation to go to Australia, actually. And while
Did you run into that woman in the line while you were there?
I did. Good memory, actually. I thought of So right before I left, I had another final callback with them. And it seemed to go really well. And they actually called my agents and put me on hold. And I was like, okay, I've been on hold for other shows, so I'm not going to get excited.
Yeah.
And I've been on hold and not gotten the show. So then I went on my trip. And then as soon as I like landed in Australia, my agent calls me at like 10 p.m. you know, whatever. And he's like, oh, nothing serious. Just give me a call when you get a chance. And I was like, you're not going to call me when you know I'm in Australia if it's not big. So I called him back and he's like, yeah, so getting an update. How was the trip? And I'm like, what's going on here? What's up? And he then said, like, so yes, Hamilton called and they would love for you to join the Chicago company. And I was just like, you got to be kidding me. And because I've been in for so many different things, I thought they maybe wanted me to cover a bunch of different things. And they said, no, we want this. They want you for George Washington.
That was just...
Mike has dropped.
It changed my vacation.
Did you drop?
Like, and then I was also like, when's it start? And they were like, about a week and a half. And I was like, I'm on a job right now and I'm on vacation. So I had to quit my show from Australia. Wow. It was insane. But,
I'm stuck in Australia, and you might want to check the fuse box, by the way.
While you're at it. No, but it was
beautiful story. Mark, you just knew there was an amazing story in there.
I know. So, all right, so skip ahead through all of the amazing times doing, because we could spend like 3 hours and talk about, and I would love to, by the way, to like talk about like getting into it and finding the character and the experience of your first night
over peanut
in front
butter
of the audience. Is exactly.
Yes, please.
Skip ahead, if you would, to where this suddenly went to New York.
So we got the notice Chicago company was closing. Jeffrey Seller is our producer. He's fabulous. He's one of the best producers I've ever worked with. He came in person and told us that we were closing many, many months ahead of time. He's just amazing. I can't say that enough. And then in that moment, in that same breath, he said, like, well, if anyone is interested in other companies, just, let us know. And we'll see, like you're all a family now. So let us know. And of course, everyone's like texting during the like, oh, let us know. Okay. I'll just message my agent.
And done.
And sent. Yes. So anyway, I sent that and my agents, and I told them, like, really, obviously Broadway, but I know someone was there and I don't know what's happening, but I would like to do maybe these other companies. And I, talking about it, what my future would be with the company, because I'm like, I'm not done. I know I'm not done here.
Nice.
And so skipping forward, my agents called me at some point over the summer of last year and said, all right, so this company and this company, it's not going to happen, unfortunately. And I was like, it's okay. I know there's a lot of Washingtons out there. It's fine. That's so funny. My agent's calling me right now. This is literally him saying these words I'm saying now.
You can answer it. We can edit it out.
No, I'll call him back. It's totally fine. Never mind. Yeah. And he's like, so it's not going to happen for those companies. And I was like, that's a bummer, but whatever. What happens. I'm just going to move to the city anyway, and I'm going to figure it out, whatever. And he was like, yeah, well, they were hoping, though, that you could take over the Broadway company.
So he pulled like a Ryan Seacrest American Idol thing? Get out of here.
That is what I was thinking. The exact same thing. I was thinking the exact same thing.
I love him, too. He's so amazing. And I was like, I literally said, shut the fuck up. I literally did. I was like, what? I'm like pacing in my room, and then the whole agency is screaming, congratulations.
Wow.
That's so cool. Great.
It was unbelievable. I was shaking. And then I had to keep it a secret for many months after that.
Wow.
Is that a not to get too in the weeds here, but in addition to the the bigness of doing Broadway, is that also a big kind of economic bump for you, going from a Chicago company to like a New York company?
It is definitely a bump, yeah. And the thing that's unique about the Chicago, because usually no one can compete with the Broadway calibers at all. When like something's on Broadway, then there's a tour, sit down somewhere else. It's just a whole different thing. But the Chicago company was so special with Hamilton. It was like their hub. They send people there to train, and then they come to Broadway. Like it just like was that first. It's the second company of Hamilton. So like I'm sure the rates are comparable for some, and then like they definitely go up for others for sure.
So you're doing this now for like about 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, the theaters start closing down.
Yes, sir.
So what was that experience like for you? And do you I imagine it must be very tough for people economically too, to like go from reaching this point and all of a sudden there's just nothing coming in now, but you don't want to let go of this job. Yeah. Because when it comes back, it's everything you would always wanted to do. That's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah, and they have handled it very well. They've let us know what they know when they know it, even if it's nothing. We have weekly meetings, even now, 6 months later. We have meetings all the time to discuss whatever we want to talk about. Cool. And they're very, very receptive. If we say like, hey, we want to have a full company meeting with all 5 American companies or whatever, and then they would like, okay, when? So there's that. But yeah, it hit us all really hard. was a lot. First, specifically for me, I just came from the Chicago company. I literally bought a house, I bought a car, and was getting ready to figure out what it meant to commute from Jersey. Like I said, I'm in Jersey, to the city every day. And it was a very stressful time, but it was certainly worth it. And then one thing shut down. It's like, whoa, okay, I'm going to be okay. This is like, I don't know. They said 2 weeks, right? Okay, cool.
Right.
It was like, I'm totally fine. I could use a 2-week break. I've been going straight from Chicago right over here.
Still a vocal rest for 6 months.
That's exactly. I was like, my foot hurts. Like, I'm going to rest my feet, like, from these boots. And so it was cute for a while. It was like, all right, cool. Yeah. And then it very quickly was not. And, it got hard. I had to figure out how to pay my mortgage. I have lots of friends who literally moved out and moved with their parents.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
for sure.
Broadway actors who had to move.
So happy silver lining is, thank God you are in a show that has survival. Because there are shows that won't come back. But we know, thankfully, because of the success, that Hamilton will come back.
Yes, Hamilton will come back. We're very excited about that. I feel very, sad about a lot of my other companies that I have already closed. I had a lot of friends in a lot of different shows, but we'll figure it out. Like we will all get through this all together.
How are you staying sharp? Not just you, but even the company. Like you can't be off all these months and then just go, okay, we're going on Tuesday. They gave us a word and you're ready to jump back in. I know you guys are all pros, but there's a certain amount of hanging on to the material, refining that vibe together and being ready to hop in front of a paying audience. So is there anything that you personally have been doing and then the company has been doing to retain that rhythm and memory?
Well, I mean,
definitely.
We're just all sitting around getting fat and sassy.
Hamilton's back and bigger than ever.
No,
we're literally 2 for the price of 1. Sorry, go ahead.
There's
nothing like a good fat Broadway joke.
New costumes for everyone.
Oh man.
Now with spandex and stretch memory.
I know.
No, yeah. The union said many months ago, like early on when they realized this was going to be like, buckle your seatbelts, folks. They said like, when we come back, mandatory, everyone has to go back to rehearsal. So it won't be like started Tuesday. It'll be like, all right, we're going to get a month of rehearsal and then we'll go on,
Nice.
So it'll be a renewed, because at this point, it'll be probably more than a year since we've all been on stage. So, I do little things. I listen here and there, but there's no expectation of us like being ready to like spring in like some secret agent,
But let's talk about how you have been helping make the dreams come true for future generations of musical theater kids, because you've been teaching, right? You've been offering some fabulous online coaching, right?
I have, yes.
Sweet.
I am teaching a lot privately here through Zoom and such, because I love to teach. I did a lot of it in Chicago, actually, as well.
I mean, Eastman School of Music you studied.
Eastman School of Music,
yeah. Good old Eastman.
That's right, Rochester, New York. So I do love that very much. So I have some kids who were like getting ready for school themselves and starting college or finishing high school and getting ready for college auditions. So college audition prep and things like that. Giving them some insight on what it's like to audition for a show,
Excellent.
helping them with their 32 bar cuts, whatever it might be.
That's
Or just some folks who just want to sing
Yeah.
and want to take some lessons. I have a bunch of those as well.
I love it. Since we're talking about funny people talking, can I just ask what you do for fun, my friend, when it's not involving theater?
I love movies. Like I really do love movies and TV shows. I get to just learn from people like while watching it, but also I just love to like go there mentally and think of just different stories and such. And so I love absorbing a lot of different shows and stuff, but I'm at my piano now. I love playing the piano. I come here and just make up whatever I can. And it's like a sense of, it's a little bit of a therapy for me.
Yeah, I mean, if people follow you on the socials, you give them a nice taste here and there.
Yeah, I was like, is this gonna be too loud?
No, it's perfect.
If you end up singing along, we're fine with that.
So
ladies and gentlemen, the iconic Tamar Greene.
Mm-hmm. I just love to play or whatever.
What's your favorite song in the world to play and sing?
Let me see. Maybe like, been together for a while now, growing stronger every day now. It feels so good and there is no doubt. I will stay with you. I will stay with you through the ups and the downs. I will stay with you when no one else is around. And when the dark clouds arise, I will stay by your side. I know we'll be alright. I will stay with you.
Oh,
That was a nice surprise. Yeah.
Nice.
You know, and it's funny too, because when we did the improv game, your real beautiful voice did not leak out the same way. And I was so glad we got a chance to hear that. You had a beautiful voice.
I'm a puddle. Somebody mop me up. I'm a puddle. That was glorious. Thanks, darling.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, so that's what I love to do in my spare time.
I have someone that I know that worked on the Chicago cast as well, Robert Ariza. Did you by chance work with him?
Yes, I did. Absolutely. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Cool guy, right?
Yeah, he truly is.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I also have a question from a 10-year-old in New Jersey, Desi Shapiro. He wanted to know, what's your favorite Washington song?
I like two. I have to answer that twice. It's because it's acting choice wise. I like History Has Its Eyes on You because it's like the way I play my Washington, at least, is that I could talk about this forever, so I'm gonna make this short. He carries a lot of tension, stress, trying to get everyone to think of the macro picture versus the micro fights and everything who's young, scrappy, and hungry are getting into. And he's doing this very diligently and aggressively without explanation. Like, just do what I say. And then in History is that first moment where you get to tell Hamilton, like, this is why I'm saying this. Like, I used to be just like you, but I got a lot of people killed. So please, like, and I'm letting you know that, but I do believe in you, you know, in that moment. So that's part of that history. And then one last time, of course, is that moment where he again realizes, like, okay, we've done all this work together. And Hamilton's like, yeah, we can continue doing this work. And he's like, no. There's no more work for me to do here. This is now yours. I have to step back and walk away. And it's like, it's the release. It's like my show is over, even though I'm still in the show after that. It's like, I carry that as an actor. I carry a lot of this tension the whole time, the whole show. And like, I literally get to let everything release from my spirit and into the audience and my team.
Isn't that Washington's quote main song? Like, weren't each of the main characters given a particular signature moment in the show that everyone has that? And this is the one that's sort of your quote signature moment.
For sure. That's the one. And I'd say the Right Hand Man as well is one of those, like, everyone has like an intro. So Right Hand Man is that like intro, but that one last time is definitely the big one. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Do you declare Lin, beautiful questions, Els. Do you declare Lin-Manuel a genius the way the rest of us do?
He is definitely a genius.
Right?
He's very smart in all kinds of styles. And he's a good dude. You know, like, he really is a good dude. He's been in some of these meetings as well. He's very busy, so he's not in all of them. But when I say we have meetings every week, he's been there, or his dad has been there as like by proxy, as we were doing some social justice stuff. And we're doing a lot of campaign stuff right now. So his dad is very active. So yeah, he's good people, and he's just brilliant. If you haven't seen like In the Heights too, like, brilliant.
You know, I realize we spent a lot of time on this episode and in this conversation, you know, fangirling all about Hamilton and focusing on that more than I actually had intended but it really is so much of your world and has become so much of your world at this moment. So I appreciate you indulging that. No I actually personally, this is just from me, Mark, saying this, I actually believe that Hamilton is one of the most important pieces of artistic work in the last century. Like, I believe it will be looked on eventually the way that people look on like Beethoven's Fifth Symphony and, you know, and those or Ninth Symphony, I guess maybe it is. But point is like, you know, some of the biggest pieces of musical work or musical theater work that there ever was. This is going to be looked at as one of the greatest achievements, and I do think he's a genius. And it's so cool to talk to someone on the inside of it. I want to talk to something that has nothing to do specifically with Hamilton as maybe a way to close this. I want to talk about humor, and any actor who's achieved any level of excellence in acting completely understands that being funny when you're acting is not about being comical. It's about being true, and the words of the situation are often what's really driving the humor. And some of the funniest moments are through the deadpan or the serious or the truth of it all and all that stuff. But there's also a real skill to doing great physical comedy and knowing how to deliver a line night after night that still is timed well. I remember being interviewed. This isn't about me, but I use it as context. I remember being interviewed long ago about performing in theater. And one of the things I remember saying is it's such a cool thing to spend literally months in some cases engineering a moment which is designed to give hundreds or thousands of people a simultaneous involuntary emotional reaction, but you've completely engineered the damn thing. And your skill is in the engineering and also in delivering that engineering precisely while looking like it's effortless. So with all of that huge amount of context given, I'd love to know how you look at humor and comedy in the way you approach your own acting choices and the way you embody a character. Because even with, you know, there's certainly some wonderful humorous moments with Washington and Hamilton as an example. And a lot of that would depend on the choices you make too. They could be played one way or another way, and one way is a little more humorous than another way. And so can you talk about how you see that, how you are aware of that, and how you make those choices?
Yeah. First of all, comedians are brilliant. Comedians usually have the best understanding of the world, you know, like, because enough to make jest of it. You know, I think of like Trevor Noah, who's like brilliant. Yeah. Brilliantly like delivery of things, but also like in context and make you laugh, but make you think like, wow, wait a minute, that was real. Like, you know, so like I always have so much respect for like comedians. I am not a comedian, but comedy is definitely something that exists in a lot of different materials. I tell people who are working on a song to like, even if it's a angry song or you might be talking about something very big and angry, like find other moments in there. It's not all angry in there. Like you can find joy over here and then find something that kind of made you laugh over here to make it more real and more relatable, not like one note. With Washington, I think the comedy in it, there's a little bit of comedy there where it's like, but it's like that dry deadpan kind of thing. I think of In the Middle of Right Hand Man, where like we're in the tent scene and Burr is just like trying to get his word in and Hamilton comes in and they're talking and it's like actually, you know, like having their moment and I'm not even looking at them at all, you know, and I just kind of played to the side and like, yeah, whatever. And then like Burr's like, and I'm like, Burr, he's like, yes, sir. Close the door on your way out. You know? You know, and it's just
brings the house down. Yeah.
But like, you know, but if it was meant, if you tried to do it like, yeah, close the door on your way out. You know, like if you tried to do that shticky kind of thing, it just totally would not land. That's not about that. It's not a shtick. It's just like, be real, like literally keep it real. And sometimes it's funny. I think we have some people who are like, kind of like jerks, right? But like it's funny, but they don't mean to be funny. They're like just kind of jerks, you know, like, or maybe they do mean it, you know. But I learned from like people too, like friends and stuff like that, absorbing and I have 9 siblings, so absorbing lots of different characters through people watching. But anyway, so that's the Washington bit. I think I've taken some of that, like the comedy of it, not waiting for a laugh, not waiting for an applause, not doing it for show, whatever. Just being real, deliver the lines as they have been perfectly constructed.
One last question from me. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but in case you have someone, who is someone on Broadway, they don't even have to be on Broadway now, but a Broadway actor or actress whose comedy chops you particularly admire?
I would say Chris Fitzgerald.
Chris Fitzgerald.
Yeah. He does kind of like what I was talking about a moment ago, where he's like not playing to make you laugh per se, but he's playing like a real like character, and you believe him. You believe he's who he is, and doesn't have to like work extra hard to get you to like bust out laughing. And he's like just like straight. It's just brilliant. He really has a brilliant dryness to him. We did one show together in like Showboat a couple years back, and it was brilliant to like watch him just be like a quirky version of himself. And it was just, I thought it was brilliant. Yeah.
Ooh, I'm going to be watching some videos of him now. Thank you.
That's right. Absolutely. So, all right. So I saw that you're in the process of building an updated website. How can people reach out, connect with you?
You might need a really good
journey?
PR person, but go on.
Yeah,
I know one.
I do too.
I am on my website is in the process of building, but you can still go on there and get the contact us kind of link, and then it goes right to me.
So that's tamargreene.com.
tamargreene.com, or at Instagram I'm very active, tamar.greene at
and that's Green with an E at the end, right?
Green with an E. Thank you for that clarification. Yes, Green with an E. Tamar, Tamar. So those are the two active ways you can reach me. You can find some stuff on YouTube and such. And let's chat.
Well, Tamar, you are definitely, without question, empirically a talented, hilarious, sweet, very musical, funny guy with lots of heart. And wish you well. Congratulations on the success so far. And I'm hoping so much that you look back at this point in time and go, oh yeah, that's kind of when I started to really blossom, and look where I am now. I hope that's the trajectory.
Good mojo.
Keep us posted about your album.
Yeah, good luck with the album. Good point.
I appreciate it.
And did this time kind of give you time to do that, right?
I was ready before. I actually scheduled to record it in April. And so when things shut down, I was like, oh, okay. And then it just kind of displaced everything. But now I'm getting ready. I'm getting ramped back up and remotivated. Nice. So,
all right. Well,
All right. Well, thank you so much.
This has been so much fun. Thank you.
Yeah, we loved it. I wish we had another hour with you for sure. Thank you so much. Tamar Greene, everybody. A really great guy.
Thank
all right. That's it for this episode of Funny People Talking, and a good one it was.
Yes.
And we will see you next time. We really appreciate you listening. Until then, for Elsie.
Thanks.
And Dresden.
Keep on laughing and singing.
I'm Marc Rako. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you on the flip side. Until then, stay funny. Bye-bye.
That's it? That's the end of the show? Boy, oh boy, what a crock. This was Funny People Talking.
No portion of the content may be reproduced or published without the strict written permission of the producers. Connect with our show at Funny People Talking or at our website, funnypeopletalking.com. I'm your announcer, Peter Coleman. Thanks for listening.
This is Mouth Media Network, the business of being heard.